Hey everyone, Adam Mitchell here, and this is the first lesson that we're going to be doing here on this YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking to you about some of the concepts and methodologies that I've used here at my martial arts school to make it a success. Once again, I'm probably going to nail this on every video, and I really want to drive this home, is that what separates us, there's a number of things actually that separate us from conventional or eclectic martial arts schools. Traditional martial arts schools are based on a degree of expectations that prospective students and existing students have when they come into the dojo. These expectations, and I get really deep into this in my book, but these expectations are not found in mixed martial art gyms, at eclectic martial arts schools, or your conventional martial arts schools, where a student goes in, they expect that they're going to sign a contract, they need a place to drop their kid off at, there's an after-school program at the martial arts school, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to bash that, never will. I think those programs are fantastic for communities. I think all of that stuff is really good, but we have a different obligation to our students and a different responsibility to serve them with, because when they come to a traditional martial arts school, they have a different set of expectations than the students that go to different styles of schools. Not all of them, but the majority of them do. And there's a number of very critical reasons that we have to get at that are both very conscious as well as subconscious with our prospects and our existing students. Maintaining that and making sure that we serve that, we recognize that, and we're sympathetic to it is critical. The first thing I want to talk about, I know I don't need to talk about to you guys, but we have to keep it in front of our minds all the time. And that's the fact that after a decade of working with martial arts school owners and being very involved in the industry and coaching school owners, I used to run a series of teleconferences that I did for free for school owners who wanted to try to build up their programs. I also had my Keeping It Real program, which is an online learning system. I had 16 modules that trained traditional school owners. And the number one thing that I found that we need to make sure we maintain with our lives, I mean, this is more important than your credit score, is how honest you are and how you present yourself with integrity and dignity. Now, again, I know you're kind of shrugging your shoulders like that's kind of a no-duh thing. But ask yourself, how many school owners do you know that you've sat there and you've kind of said, really? Come on, dude. The thing is that as school owners, when they fabricate things just a little bit, it's still picked up by their students on the floor, on the mat. When a student, when an instructor is trying to impart a lesson on the students, but they can't fulfill what it is that they're trying to teach, that is, while it's not like overt lying, you are not being honest with your students. So if you've got a bad standard of health and you've got a reckless lifestyle, but yet you're trying to demand of your students something very different, there's a degree of honesty that is questioned from the mat to the leadership of the dojo. And breakdown can begin here. It's really important that we step away from, as martial arts instructors, creating fantasy worlds and trying to impose what we think we are and what we think we want to be on our prospective students and the members of our martial arts school. And I know this is probably going to get a few of you upset, but I firmly believe that we have no place calling ourselves master, calling ourselves shihan, calling ourselves kyoshi or renchi or hanshi or soke. This is not a Japanese thing, and it's really an American thing, and it's very much a patriarchal thing. But more importantly, and not to cut on anybody out there who's watching this video, because guys, this is all from my heart. What's very important to understand is that when you impose that on your students, they begin to question you. They begin to question you as a leader. How secure are you inside spiritually, where you got to have people call you master? And there's a dishonesty, there's an honesty disconnect that's going on there. When you tell stories, I remember this one instructor years ago, he was telling people how he was a Navy SEAL, and he was, I'm sure you probably have heard these same stories. Step away from that. And even if it's a story that is true, but people have questioned it in the past, I've got tons of them. I've lived a fantastic life so far, and I'm just getting warmed up. But I've got stories that I've told people in total honesty, and I'm sharing it. People are like, come on, man, really? So I've decided to, you know what? I'm not going to share that with people because I don't want people to question my integrity. I don't want people to question who I am as an instructor. So what I'd like everybody to do is I'd like you to spend a couple days and really ask yourself and really dig into your mind, dig into your spirit. Who are you? And are you honestly serving your students with that person? I might be wrong, and in a lot of ways I try to maintain that feeling of shoshin, or that feeling of always looking at things with a mind of a beginner, because I want to be able to look at myself through the perspective of my students, and I want your students to be able to look at you the same way and say, is he with us? Is he leading us, or is he commanding us? Is he telling us what to do, or is he showing us what he expects so that we can accomplish what we're all in this for? So here's what I want you to do right now. I'm going to put you to task. I want you to take out a piece of paper and a pencil. Yeah, don't do it on your computer. I know you're watching this on your computer. Don't open up Microsoft Word or Pages right now. Actually take a piece of paper and a pencil and do the physical act of writing this down. And take this concept and this idea and put it to action. I want you to write down 5 things that you've said to your students in the past that have been you've taken a little bit of artistic liberty to, or you've maybe exaggerated just a little bit, or even if it's an absolute lie. Because if you're a traditional martial arts instructor, I can guarantee you one thing: you've walked away from that, and that's been on your conscience. What I want you to do is I want you to collect 5 things. If you can get to 6, 7, 8, hopefully you're not going that many, but put some stuff down. And then I want you to read through that, and I want you to kind of internalize what it is that you've said to your students, and then I want you to kind of take inventory of that. How has that influenced your students? And I think what you're going to do is you're going to find that all of those things that you put down were only for self-serving reasons. They didn't change the course of your students' progress in a positive way at any time. I'll promise you that. And this is going to start us off to something that's very important in my program that's going to help build your school. And that's how to make sure that the expectations of the student when they come into the dojo are met. And this is the key thing that differentiates us from them. Guys, I hope you enjoy this lesson. I know it's pretty basic stuff here that I'm starting with, but I want to kind of do some paradigm adjustments. Let's calibrate our Shingi Taichi. Let's calibrate our mind and our emotions, our spirit and our body. Let's bring it all together, because that's what students are going to be looking at as a leader on the mat in your dojo. And that is what's going to retain them in your school and making them martial artists.